10, 9, 8,
Just relax
7,
and
6,
enjoy this.
5, 4, 3.
We're here with Tonya Harding in her hometown of Portland, Oregon, and you were just telling me that you're working on a lot of projects. What are you working on now?
Well, I'm still skating every single day, just to stay in shape, basically, and hopefully if I get asked to do some shows or appearances, then I'll be ready for them. And I now work for a landscape company with the people I live with, and it's really interesting. We, pot plants, and, sometimes I'll finish cement or something, paperwork,
Now, how'd you learn to do that?
Just by watching. So, and then I do lots of hobbies. Let's see, play pool, do off-bike riding, with a motorcycle, street bikes, basically anything almost. It's fun.
You really, you do just a lot of athletic things also. Huh?
Yeah.
Do you go to the gym and you work out and you...
Well, we have a gym in the house, and so I work out on that.
What kind of things do you do?
Let's see, I do curls and bench press and crunches, things like that, working on my chest and arms.
Now, when you skate every day, is that just because you love it, or are you training, or what kind of...
Because I love it. I mean, even though I can't skate amateur anymore, I still love skating. I mean, that's my life, and I'll probably do it for another 20 years.
What does skating do for you? I mean, why do you like that so much?
It's an out for me. I mean, I just love to do it. I go and, if I'm having problems, outside of skating, I can go down to the rink and I can just skate, and it's just an out for me.
Is it because it gets your energy out, or because you're by yourself and it's solitude, or?
I don't know, I just love it. I just can go out and just let myself go. And it's just, a feel of accomplishment.
You talked about you might do some skating shows. Is there a big difference between like skating in a show or skating competition? I mean, will you miss that competitive edge of skating?
Well, when you do shows, you still go out there and you kind of feel the little bit of competitive edge to just go out and be able to do the best that you can do for everybody. But I'll miss, competing and things like that, because I love to compete. I mean, if you didn't have to practice, I'd just do the competing part. It'd been great.
Yeah. To hear that you won't be able to do the amateur competition anymore, what does that do for you?
It hurts a little bit. I mean, I was going to plan on turning pro, but, to turn pro so soon, it was a little bit different. But that's okay.
Yeah. You said that you wanted to teach children.
I love working with Special Olympics children, and I've been working with them since I was 14 years old, and also through part of my plea agreement, I offered to raise $50,000 for the Special Olympics children, and I'm really excited about that. We're working on doing a few different things, maybe through silk screens, or I don't know, there's a few different things we can do for it, and so I'm really excited about that.
What are silk screens? Explain to me what that is.
It's a painting portrait through silk screening, and it's kind of I don't know, just different kinds of pictures all together on one, kind of like a collage. So,
Special Olympic children, why is that so special to you? What do those kids mean to you?
they mean a lot to me. I mean, for them to go out and to do the best they can do, I mean, to try so hard, and even the kids that can't do it, they still, I mean, gosh, they're so into trying, and I respect that so much.
It sounds as though, when you think of the Special Olympic kids and their competition, they're competing and enjoying and learning against all odds.
Some of them are amazing. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, some of them go out there and they just do some of the most amazing things. I skated with a young man, his name is Stosh, and he is from back east, and he's blind. And he amazed me. I went to a show. I've been to 2 shows with him, and the first one I didn't get to watch, but the second one I did, and he did axles, double sows, double toes. I mean, and he's blind, but yet he did it.
What do you teach those children about competing and doing their very best in spite of all the odds against them?
I don't have to teach them. They already do it. I mean, because of their love for what they do, they go out and they do their best every time they can. And when I work with them, it's kind of cool because they, always try a little harder. And I'm like, you don't have to try so hard. It's okay, just relax. Go out there and have fun. That's the most important thing, is just to go have fun.
Because, I think all of us watched you competing against all odds. And I just wonder if you were relating to their experience and pulling some of it from your own.
Maybe. I think so.
Yeah. What was it like, if you could just describe what was going on in your head and your heart when all that turmoil was going on and all eyes were on you and you were in the midst of a very difficult time? What were you thinking? How did you keep going?
It was really difficult. I'd leave my problems at the door of the rink. I had a counselor that I was working with, and his daughter skated with me, and he died last year, and it's been really, really hard for me because he was really important to me. And he taught me a lot of things, how to control myself. I used to get mad on the ice, and I'd say a few dirty words or something, but I tree it, and it's to touch something and then leave your problems there and go in and do your skating.
That's called treeing.
Yes.
Leaving your problems outside the door.
Right. You touch something and you leave your problems there, and then you can come back and pick them up whenever you're done.
What did you touch?
The door.
The door.
I touch the door usually.
And what would you say to yourself when you're touching that door and you're leaving those problems? What would you say?
Basically just, okay, this is it. It's time to go into work. Do what you love to do and just leave everything else out there. It was my out. So, and it was really, really hard. It's just been really hard for me to have to deal with everything. And my skating was the most important thing to me in my whole, entire life. And I think that's basically what I was trying to do, was to accomplish what I've wanted to all my life.
Yeah. Were you by yourself a lot during those difficult days?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I was living with Stephanie and John and their son Cameron, and I think that without my friends and family, my close friends and family, the people I know who are really my friends and family now, who care about me, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I could have done it.
What did they tell you to keep you strong?
Just keep your chin up, It's all going to be over someday. Don't worry about it. You know what you did and what you didn't do, and don't believe what other people say. It doesn't really matter, because we believe in you. And, for someone to tell me that they believe in me, it means a lot.
Yeah. I remember the wonderful ad that you took out in the local paper, just to say to all of your fans, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for those faxes, those phone calls. Thank you for the prayers. And you ended it by saying, thank you for believing in me, and I'm going to try really hard to make you proud. What do you plan to do? What is the one thing that you think you'd like to give back to all of those folks who believed in you so much?
Well, I think to get my life back on track, and hopefully, maybe I'll be able to do a show here in Portland, and, it'd be really nice to have everyone there. I think all the people that do care about me want to see me succeed, and I think that, the best thing for me to do is to succeed.
Some people say success is the greatest revenge.
Sometimes.
On Galooly, do you talk to him? Do you?
No, I haven't talked to him since we parted in January.
What are you thinking about him?
I don't think about him. I mean, he's history, I don't care about him.
Is that easy to just turn it off like that?
Well, because of my skating is the reason why I got back together with him last year after we were already divorced. I had a few people who told me that, high up in figure skating, who said if you weren't with him because they like him, and they said that, you have a stable life when you're with him, and they didn't know him and they didn't know what was going on. And it was really hard for me to go back, but I think a lot has to do with the whole thing that's gone on, is that he found out that I wasn't going to stay with him. He found out that I was going to leave him as soon as I was done with Olympics.
And his reaction to that?
I don't know. I think this whole thing is because of that.
That he thought you were going to leave him?
Well, he knew, because I had talked to some people about it and everything.
What kind of guy is he? Or what kind of husband was he?
A lazy one. I don't mean to be cruel, but he hadn't worked for a few years and didn't do anything. I tried. I think the reason why I went back so many times is because I thought I did something wrong. And, I wanted to be married once, and I thought that I needed to try harder. So I always thought, well, maybe I didn't try hard enough, I'll try again, and it wasn't there because there was nothing coming back, in return.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet?
I met him when I was skating at Clackamas Town Center. I was 15 years old, and he was watching me skate.
And then you started dating, and
Yeah,
one
we
thing led to the
started
other?
talking to each other, and he asked me out, and we went out and started seeing each other.
Was he ever abusive?
Yes,
In what way?
physically and mentally.
Wow. When would he get abusive?
Well, he was very, demanding, and I don't know, if he drank, and he drank a lot, with friends and stuff like that, then he would become abusive.
Physically hitting you,
Yes,
bruising you,
yes,
cutting you,
yes,
making you bleed?
yes.
Did you have anybody to turn to? Could you
Not
go
really.
any place and say, I'm being abused, help me?
The only people who ever believed me was Stephanie and her family. I mean, Jeff's mom did never even believe me.
There is a word that you may be getting adopted by Stephanie's family. Is that something that you want to do?
I've been wanting to do it since I was 15, but Jeff at the time didn't want me to do that. He thought that was silly. But we finally have decided that we're going to go ahead and do it, and we're trying to get everything else out of the way first, and then, because, it's just a piece of paper that says that you're family.
But what does it say to you? It's more than a piece of paper to you.
Well, we're already family, but it just makes it legal.
And official.
Yeah.
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 What does family mean to you?
Life. I had a good family. My mom and dad loved me, and they tried really hard, with my skating and everything. It wasn't easy, but I know that they love me in their own way, and, I still see my dad all the time, and I see my mom sometimes. But it's just, I've always wanted to have, true brothers and sisters, and there's Stephanie, and there's Mark and Brent, and it's like a whole family.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk about your relationship with your parents, and maybe if you'd like to become a parent one day, and what kind of mom would Tonya make? We'll talk about that. We'll be right back. Okay. You want kids? But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
4, 3,
So we'll talk about family relationship. Okay. We're back with our conversation with Tonya Harding, and before we left, we were talking about family. Do you want to be a mom one day?
Yeah, I do. I want to have probably one child, maybe two.
Boy, girl?
Doesn't matter.
Got any names picked out?
Yeah.
You do? What? Who?
Well, if I have one of each, I want to name it Kyle and Kayla.
And where do these names come from?
I don't know, I just always have wanted that. I've looked in kids' books before for other people and everything, and always came up with those. Those my favorite.
What kind of mom would you really like to be? Would you strive to be?
I would be a very supportive mom, and caring, loving, and I would never be abusive to my children, ever.
Were you an abused child at all at home?
Yes,
In what way?
both physically and mentally.
How has that affected you to this day?
Actually, I think to this day, I think it's made me a better person, a stronger person. Since I was about 13, 14, I've basically had to take care of myself, and and I think that made me strong. And a lot of people ask me, well, how do you get your strength and everything?
Yeah.
And I think it's taking care of myself. I always cooked and cleaned and everything for my mom and dad because they worked. And when I wasn't working or skating or school or whatever, I would clean. So,
Is there a lot of pain that's left over from those days?
there's some, but I have forgiven my mom.
How do you forgive after being abused by your own mother? How do you forgive her?
Well, I guess just because to realize that she had a problem and it wasn't her fault.
She had a drinking problem, is that what it
Yeah.
was?
And I mean, you can't, I don't know, you can't, hate somebody or hate what somebody did to you forever. You'll always remember it, but you can't, dig on it forever. So,
Have you talked to your mom about that, about those days of abuse?
no. It's not necessary. I mean, my mom loved me in her own special way, and she worked really hard, and she kept me skating and stuff. So, she did try really hard.
What kind of a coach mother was she?
She made me do it, and if I didn't do it, then I'd get in trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Well, spanked or something.
If you didn't win, if you didn't skate well, if...
Yeah. I mean, she took me to the rink every morning and stuff, but she drank all the time. I mean, constantly. So that it was really hard.
That would almost, as I think about it, it might make you scared to skate.
No, because I love skating so much, and I did it for me, and I didn't mess up too many times. It's just, at practice times.
When you make a spill or something, was that like, oh my God, I'm really going to get it now?
No, if I just didn't follow through with what I said I wanted to do that day or something.
So she made you strong, maybe not in the way that you wanted her to inspire you, but...
she used a lot of negative reinforcement to get me to skate.
Like what?
Well, telling me, oh, I know you can't do this. You're never going to be able to do it. And I always said, well, watch me.
I'll show you.
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And I'd go out and do it.
You sure did.
And
you sure did.
I've done that all my life.
What about your relationship with your dad?
I was Daddy's little girl. I still am.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he say? Because it's got to hurt parents to see you go through this. I mean, I guess there's not but so much they can really do when you're in the public eye and there's a scandal involving you. It must hurt Dad to see his little girl go through that.
Yeah, I've seen him cry quite a few times, since this all has begun. And then, I don't know, then it's kind of like me being the parent. And I'm like, Dad, it's okay. Things are going to be okay. We got to be strong together, and we'll pull through this. We all got to just stay together and be strong.
What about your brother? When he was killed in a hit and run, and you didn't go to his funeral, why not?
Because I had no respect for him.
Why?
Not whatsoever. He's the only person I've ever hated in my life. He tried to abuse me when I was very young.
Sexually, physically?
Yes.
Sexually.
And that's the only person I've never forgiven.
Now, your mother says that she did not abuse you. Do you think she has a different view of her strictness with you?
Well, I mean, it's her opinion. In my opinion, I feel that she was too strict on me, very strict. And I mean, all the skating moms and everybody thought the same thing too. So, I mean, but she also had a drinking problem, and maybe she did not realize that she was that abusive. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay then, because that's not how you treat your child. But I look back and it's okay. I forgive her. It's all right.
You move on past these things.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever move on beyond this international scandal with Nancy Kerrigan?
I think so. I think it'll all go away. I hope it goes away soon, but I know it probably won't. But it's just been really hard, and I just want it all to be behind me so I can go on with my life. I've made lots of mistakes, and I'm paying for those mistakes. I admit when I did something wrong, and I just want to go on with my life. I want to make something of myself.
What mistakes, or what are some of the biggest mistakes that you think? Because let me tell you, we've all made mistakes. I mean, everybody has been 22, 23 before. There isn't a person out here who hadn't made a mistake. The thing you're lucky about is you're young enough, you can start your life all over again. What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that you've made, that you've said, I went down that road, I lived life, I will never go there again? Top 3.
Gosh, that's really hard. Maybe in 1992, maybe I didn't train hard enough. But, I mean, I trained hard, but, it's nobody's fault but my own that I didn't win, But I think that maybe that was one of the top ones. I think not trusting myself enough to do things myself and not rely on other people. And I think, well, I think that's it. I mean, it's really hard to say what are the top 3 things.
But those are things, I think that's part of life, is knowing what decisions to make, to believe in yourself a little bit more. Growing up is tough, ain't it?
That's right. You have to make mistakes to grow up.
That's right.
And as long as you don't make them, well, me in my case 3 times. If you don't make them more than 3 times, you're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've only made 1 mistake 3 times, and that was when I went back to Jeff. And I should have followed my heart instead of followed what other people said before.
Jeff and his cronies, if you will, are saying that you were just as much involved in this whole thing, that that you knew what was going on and you were part of it. You say what?
Well, I know that they're lying. I mean, I'm the only one who knows the truth. And, they put out this 1-900 number or whatever and everything. And, I've never even met the people.
And you don't know anything.
No.
Then the thing about the conversation that you were calling to find out Kerrigan's schedule. Did you ever call to do that?
No, I didn't.
Never did.
Uh-uh.
And they're just trying. Why would they bring you into this? I mean, they're already in trouble. Why would they try to pull you down with them?
Well, I think Sean he always had fantasy dreams all the time. I mean, he talked about, excuse me.
You okay?
He talked about being, in counter-espionage and stuff like this. I mean, he always had all these wild dreams and fantasies, and he had always talked about wanting to do security and stuff like that for, like, the association and everything. And, I think that he was looking on money, and this was a way. See, I felt like maybe I was the, the honey, and they were the bees, and I think one of the reasons why Jeff did it is because he found out I was going to leave him.
What about being in the eye? Chances are you could make millions of dollars, and all the folks that suddenly start showing up in your life and wanting to be a part of it. I mean, did you feel that there were people who came around you just to use you?
There is people out there that do that. But like I say, I know who my real friends and family are, and I know who the people are. I don't know what they call it. There's a word for it that they use for people that, come in, and if you're doing well, they're there. But if you're not doing good, they're not there.
That's right. Have you learned a lot about friendship?
Yes, I have.
Have you found some surprises, people you thought were your friends are suddenly just like nowhere to be seen?
Yes.
And what does that do to you?
It hurts a little bit. It can't not hurt. And, but that's how you find out who your true friends are.
Okay. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more with Tonya Harding. Good. What other things do you want to talk about this next segment? Anything that...
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to our conversation today with Tonya Harding. Now, you were just mentioning about friends and how things change when your life and your successes and everything else changes. You said there were some real surprises among some of your friends. When you walk down the street here, when you come back home after you've been to Norway and you've been all over the place, and you come back after all this, how have the hometown folks treated you?
Everybody still treats me really good. I haven't really had anybody come up and say, oh, I think you're trash or anything like that. Everyone's been really supportive. And I have actually a lot of people who I didn't know before who may become friends. We might become friends. So it's kind of neat.
I know you had mentioned Sean earlier. It's Sean Eckhart, one of the guys who is indicted in this whole scandal bit. How did you come to know him? You've known him for a while, or?
I met him through Jeff, when I met Jeff.
Were you part of did you make the decision that he would be part of this group, or that he would be, or the bodyguard, did any of the people in your entourage, was that your decision, or was that more Jeff's decision about who would be in your camp?
Well, I was just kind of there. Jeff never really let me have any friends. And so it was always Jeff and his friends, and I just basically stayed home and did nothing all the time.
This guy sounds like a real power monger, like keep you down and that kind of thing.
A little.
Yeah. When you talk about abuse, and you've talked about emotional, physical, and then even an attempt to sexually abuse you from your brother, there are lots of young ladies out there, lots of young girls who are going through the same type of life. What would you say to them? Any words of advice?
Well, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but just follow your heart and believe in yourself. Protect yourself.
Have you ever gone to therapy to deal with any of this, or have you just basically dealt with this all by yourself?
I've been to therapy a couple of times, and I'm going to be starting up counseling here soon.
Good. What do you want to accomplish from that?
I want to find myself, find, who I really am, and, just to help me deal with everything that's happened,
Trying to put things in perspective.
Right.
What do you like most about yourself?
I believe in myself, and I like myself. And I don't know, that I'm determined.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to say, that you like yourself, because it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me that you spend an awful lot of time with yourself, that you go inside yourself a lot, be it skating, which is a very solitude thing, or just having to grapple with a lot of life changes on your own. So you've gotten to know yourself a lot more, I would think, in this past year.
Yeah, I think so.
Any surprises in there? Anything that you said, wow, I didn't know I had that?
Being able to cope with things, being able to be calm and be able to just kind of just let it go. I mean, there's a few things that still, if someone was to say something bad about me, and then maybe I would get upset, and I might hurt my feelings for a little while, but then I can let it go.
How do you deal with pain?
I don't know. It just goes inside and stays there. I just
How do you
kind
deal
of
with anger?
put it in a little box.
Is anger in that little box too? How do you deal with that?
All that stuff's all in the little box, and I just put it all in there and just throw it away. Just throw it in the back.
Okay, is the box getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Is that why you need to go and talk with a therapist maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you don't want to open that box.
It's kind of like my clothes, I just kind of throw them in a box and throw them in the back,
All right, until you have a chance to sort them out and figure out what you want to keep in there and not.
Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I have time where I can sort things out.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's
Yeah.
probably good to go through and
Yeah.
find out who you are. Because let me tell you, by the time you get my age, you're not going to know the lady you were at this age. You're going to change a lot, believe me. Life makes you do
well,
that.
it's nice, and also having some friends that I can talk to, and they help me understand, what I'm feeling too. So,
What makes you happier than anything else in the world?
to make other people happy, I do anything I can for my friends. I mean, if any one of my true friends was in trouble, I'd be right there to help them out. I mean, even if I had $1 left to my name and my friend needed that to, have a meal, I would give that person that dollar.
What do you think is through all of this, is the biggest misconception about Tonya Harding?
Well, that people say something or they hear something and they just believe it right off the bat. I think that if someone really needs to know something about me personally, they can come and ask me, I mean, don't believe everything you read, don't believe everything you hear. I mean, lots of people, my friends have stood up for me many, many, many times where somebody would say, oh, well, I think Tonya Harding's a bitch or something like that.
That's okay, we say the B word.
Yeah. And they go, well, do you know her? And they're like, no, just from what we've read in the paper. And then they would say, well, well, if you don't know her, then don't talk bad about her because I'm one of her friends and she's not a bitch. So, I think that a lot of people that don't understand me and don't know me, I don't know how they can give an opinion.
Do you think Nancy Kerrigan's a bitch?
No, I don't.
Is she really a nice person?
Yeah, she's nice.
Do y'all get along?
Well, we have in the past.
Yeah. Because there was always that, I guess people think, well, they're these two girls and they're competing and there's a cat fight. And I mean, I think a lot of it is the soap opera drama that people think, well, there must be a...
Everybody thinks that it's like a soap opera, but Nancy and I have been, teammates for many, many years. And we've been on tour 3 different years in a row. And, it's... Everybody does everything together, and so it hasn't been like we weren't friends or anything. We talked and all this stuff. So,
did you ever talk after the knee incident, after she was attacked? Did you ever talk after that?
Yeah, we talked when we were at the competition.
What do you say after something like that happens?
Ask her how she's doing. you know, I hope it gets better real fast.
Yeah. Was she nice
know?
to you, or did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, she was nice to me. I mean, we had receptions we went to and everything with the other skaters that were on the Olympic team, and everybody was really cool.
Because I think that would be so weird. I mean, you walk in the room and you don't quite know what to say, and then she doesn't know what to say, and then everybody around you is looking at you, waiting for you to say something. I mean, was it an uncomfortable kind of thing, or you guys were right back beyond that?
Yeah, and when we got to Olympics, we had a short, just brief intersection kind of thing, you know, and we were getting ready to do team picture and said, "Hi, how you doing?" She said, "Fine, how are you?" You know.
What about her parents? And
Her parents are really nice.
They were nice to you? Nobody?
I didn't see them at Olympics, but I saw them at nationals, and you know they've always been really nice to me. I mean, I think her mom's really nice.
This whole concept, like with an ice skating, that beauty is, but like from Peggy Fleming and Dorothy Hamill and even Nancy Kerrigan. I mean, it was always the pretty girls and the beauty and the outfits and all that stuff. Does that bug you, that there's so much emphasis on beauty and pageantry within the ice skating competition?
No, I mean, I think that I'm pretty, and I think that I have a nice body for skating and everything. So, I mean, I felt like I was, you know, right up there with everybody else. And, you know, sure, I mean, but you have to remember that, you know, it's the second most watched sport in the world. And so, of course, it's going to, you know, you go out there and you have to have the costumes, you have to have everything. And I mean, if you don't have the great costumes, I mean, you know, people are going to go, ooh.
Yeah, and sometimes they said that to you.
I mean, it's
didn't
like
they?
a beauty pageant,
Yeah.
but you have to show that you can do your skating.
You're right. You let that over.
But it's all one big thing. I mean, if you don't have the costume, then the judges will kind of mark you down because you don't have a good costume. Or if they don't like your hair, they'll mark you down. Or, you know, I mean.
Did you get a tough time for that? I mean.
Yeah, I got it a lot.
Yeah. What did they say to you?
Well, we'll see. I can remember one time when I was young, a judge did not like my bow that was in my hair, and he said that if I wore the bow in my hair, he wouldn't give me the marks I deserved, even if I did a perfect program.
You're kidding.
No. So I wore the bow, and he gave me last place.
Do you wish you'd changed your bow now?
No, because I wanted to wear that bow, so I wore it.
And it wasn't about the bow anyway, was it? Not your
I
skating.
don't know. Yeah, I don't care.
But I mean, the outfits. I mean, people were saying things about your outfits, and they were saying, you know, did that had to bug you?
It bugs me sometimes, but I mean, I have my own style, and I'm not going to wear something that matches somebody else's costumes or something. I want my own style. I want my own costumes, you know, and they're all original. There's nothing that's identical about anybody else's dresses to mine. And up until the one dress that I wore at Olympics this year, they were my designs.
You made them yourself?
Well, I had someone make them, but I designed them.
What do you think about when you're designing that outfit that's going to be seen by so many people around the world? What are you thinking? What concept? What design?
Well, I try to do it along with the music, and I want it to be unique. I want it to be elegant, but sexy, and glamorous. You know, it has to all fit the music. I mean, if it doesn't match, then, you know, it kind of, I mean, if you're skating to Batman or something and you were to wear orange. I mean,
You look like Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I don't think that it would go.
Yeah. You bring up music, and I hear that there's somebody wooing you to be a country singer. Don't even say it. We're going to talk about it after this. Can you picture Tonya Harding as a country singer? We're going to talk about that. We'll be right back in a minute. You don't know.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Okay, so now we're welcome back as we continue our conversation with Tonya Harding. Before we left, we've been talking during the break. Country singing. Now, come on, how did this happen? Word is, I hear that you were about to ink a big deal to go and be a country singer.
Well, it hasn't been anything like that. I got, someone had contacted someone and asked me if I'd like to sing country music, and
Well, now somebody heard you singing and said you had a good voice.
The only time I sing is like karaoke at our like they'll have a birthday party or something like that at the house, and so I might sing a little bit there in the shower.
Uh-huh.
You know,
But I mean, that would be
in
something
the car
neat.
I'm driving,
Yeah, singing around,
and I'll look over. Somebody's like looking at me or something, you know.
singing to yourself.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, she's weird."
But that would be fun, though.
But
That'd
then
be
they'll go,
something new.
"Wait a minute, that's Tonya Harding,"
And
then
she's a singer.
that's how they get it.
Oh,
That's
God.
how. I mean, it's so funny.
But would you ever try something like that? That could be fun.
I don't know. I
at
mean, I'd be
you.
embarrassed. I would be
This is a
embarrassed.
woman who goes out in front of the entire world and skates and is afraid to
But
sing.
I've been doing it for 20 years. You have to remember that. And I have never once taken a singing lesson.
That's
I
fun.
mean, in school, you know, they have the teachers
Chorus.
who teach you how to sing, but, you know, I was always the high-pitched people.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that could be something to try.
yeah.
I mean, the Olympics, that is like major competition. Was it, do you ever get scared, nervous?
I got nervous at Olympics when my lace broke. I missed the triple axel on warm-up, and that's how I must have cut my lace, because it was fine before then. It was fine when I put it on, and I got off, and I went to tighten it because I was second to skate, and it broke.
I remember watching.
I got nervous.
Yeah, there was just such distress in your face.
I didn't know that they had like a regulation time. You have 2 minutes regulation time to fix whatever your problem is, and then you have to go on skate.
Wow.
And the first lace we got was too short. We couldn't even lace it up, and we put it in there. We ended up lacing up. There was, lace it up, and then it goes up here. We went from 2 down, and we were skipping. We skipped like 3 of them, and 2 on one side and 3, and then I just tied it up at the very top and tried to do it. I mean, it was not even tight enough for me to walk down the hall, and here I was going to go out and try and jump with it.
Wow.
And I told Diane, I said, I'm not going to, not go out and try.
Mm-hmm. That was, I think, the first time that we had seen you just lose it. You had just emotionally. I mean,
Yeah.
you look, I mean,
I just couldn't handle it.
yeah.
I mean, to think that I got here, I got all this way, and then because of a lace breaking, I can't compete.
Yeah. Oh God. What were you saying up at that when you went up and you showed them your skate?
I told them that my lace had broken. We tried to get a lace in there, and this one's way too short. I'm going to end up breaking my ankle if I try. You know, there's no support, there's nothing. And she looked at it and she agreed. And so she says, well, go fix it. And then as I was getting off, they announced that I would skate at the end of the group.
Wow. Nobody thought, oh, she's just trying to get sympathy.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. I mean, it was really hard for me to get back on track, to get myself back to focus. I really thought Diane was just going to shake me, or Erica was just going to shake me, and Erica's pacing, and Diane's standing there, and I'm pacing, and Diane's just like, sit down, relax, and just let it go.
Yeah.
And I went out. I did everything. I did a perfect program except triple axel.
Yeah.
God,
I can just, and I don't skate, believe me, but I can just feel that just what you were, probably going through there. When you're out doing the Olympics and you do one of those big twist, flip things in the air and you come down and you spill, what goes through your mind? I mean, is that embarrassing?
No.
How do you get up and...
This powder, excuse me. My nose is itching. No. You just have to really focus. I mean, it's only one jump, and you have a whole program to finish through. Who cares? I mean, other people are going to make mistakes too. There's not very many people who don't make a mistake, and you just got to get up and keep going. Like in the original program, if for some reason I would have doubled my triple lutz in the combination, I would have left it a double lutz. I wouldn't have done it as a combination. I would have done my double flip and made it a triple. And so.
What about the competition? Are girls always nice to each other backstage?
Mostly.
Because we always think, well, it's the beauty pageants and it's the skate. There's probably cat fighting in the back. Is that part of it? Or
Everybody's usually really nice to each other, Oksana Baul and everyone, Surya Bonley, we all talk and everything,
Did they give you support during this thing? I mean, you know, because I'm thinking they know you and they know Nancy and they know about the scandal and.
Well,
you know.
Oksana, before I skated, wished me good luck, and I told her good luck and everything.
Will you stay in contact with any of them, even though you won't be able to compete on the amateur?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oksana's represented by Michael Rosenberg, my old agent, and I'm still really close to them. And so I think that in the future I might want to start like one of my own skating shows or something, and I might go through Michael to get the people for the show. And he doesn't even know. He's going to see this and say, "Oh,
Good idea." What were you like as a little girl?
Ornery."
Ornery. You got punished a lot.
No, not really.
Got in trouble.
No, I mean I didn't do
What does
anything
ornery mean?
bad. I just, when I first wanted to take lessons from Diane, I can remember it was at Jansen Beach, and this was this ice rink where they had 2 ice rinks on each side, and Diane said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't take young skaters that haven't had any coaching before," and so. Just to be ornery, I went out and skated circles around her. And so then, then my mom was giving me hand signals and stuff, because we had hand signals for different things when I was younger. And then Diane came in and asked my mom to ask me to stop. And then she also asked her if I was deaf. And she says, no.
She's just not listening to you. Right?
No, she says, well, we just have hand signals for what she can do. And then Diane said, well, can you show me? And so my mom gave me a hand signal, and I'd go and do something.
Wow. You were on the ice as early as how old? 3?
I was 3.
3 years old.
Yeah. And so then Diane decided, she goes, okay, I'll take her on a 6-month trial. And here we are 20 years later.
That's right, 20 years later. I want to know what you're going to be doing in the next 20 years. We'll start with at least 5 years where you see yourself. We'll let you answer that in just a second. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Just what you want to do, where you want to go after here,
Let's see. Gosh.
I know. Isn't that horrible? I hate people ask that question because you're sitting there going like, let me get through today, okay?
Yeah. I'll come back and ask you.
Well, I know. That's right. That's right.
Michael Rosenberg's on the phone. Let's talk to him.
Have we got a deal?
Should have a lot of good friends.
Yeah. We all need good friends. They stick by it. It'll stick by
Actually, I have a good answer for that one, so you can ask me that.
What about the best friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
The camera's all moving.
I know. Yeah. Let's see.
So we're on to 5?
We're in 5.
Okay. So, what do you think? It's been okay, huh?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
2 chicks.
2 chicks sitting around talking.
Yeah. We're going to have a drink after this.
That's right. We're going to need one after this. I'm with you on that. Excellent idea. Yeah,
You'll just have to come to the party.
I know. That'd be a
Be
hoot.
fun.
Stand by, kids.
Guess who I have with me?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
20 years, man. I can't even think. Welcome back, everybody. Tonya, I just asked you what you see yourself doing in the next 20 years. We could take it a little closer. Next 5, next 10 years, where do you see yourself?
Well, let's see. This will all be behind me. And I hope to be working with Special Olympics children again and, teaching them. I want to also be a coach. Hopefully have my own skating tour or something like that, or skating show. And
What about a movie?
I'd like to do a movie and a book. A lot of people, if I was rich as everybody said I was, it would be great. I mean, I haven't seen any money yet for anything that's come up. There's, possibilities for a book and possibilities for a movie. But we have a lot of other things I'm working on, real close here in the future, hopefully.
What about your losing so many endorsements? Does that get to you? Or what are you thinking about that?
It wasn't the endorsements that I wanted. What I wanted was to be able to go to the Olympics and fulfill my dream as competing in them again and hopefully winning. And I didn't win, and that's okay.
But you don't miss those millions of dollars you could have made from being on everything from cereal boxes to commercials?
I mean, it would be nice. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. But, you know, then what do you have to work for? You know, I mean, I don't want everything just handed to me on a silver platter. I like to work for what I get. And so,
Yeah, you've worked very hard. I remember hearing stories about growing up, how you didn't have a lot of money with your family, and how you and your mom used to collect bottles and cans for deposits.
we did. It
You
was
did?
funny. Yeah.
What was...
Well, I bought my first 10-speed bicycle with the money that I had saved up. And, you know, I mean, it was good exercise. And, you know, I look back and it's embarrassing and stuff. But, you know, it just gave us the little extra money for the little extra things that I wanted. And so, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, you know.
What was life like growing up for you? You didn't come from a very wealthy background. It was a tough working class background, right?
My mom had usually, you know, she was working as a waitress, and my dad sometimes had 2 jobs. You know, it was really hard. And then I worked also. At the age of 14, when I got my worker's permit, I worked for a skater's dad at a metal shop. Did all kinds of different things. You know, we worked on heavy machinery and painting and sanding and counting and shipping and receiving and welding. And I mean, it went through lots of different things. And I worked as a assistant manager for Stephanie's dad for a restaurant. And I even worked at Sears in the hardware department for a while.
You know the value of hard work, huh?
Well, I just enjoyed doing it. I mean, I don't think I would like enjoy working in retail as in clothes and stuff like that. I mean, I might, you know, because I can, I know what's on sale. But I think it's really interesting because when I was working at Sears in the hardware department, it was a challenge for me to know what all the tools were and everything and what was going on, what you needed to have for this and for this, because I worked on automobiles, you know, since I was young. And when men would come up and they'd say, "You work here, can you tell me?" "Oh, never mind, that's okay, I'll find somebody." And I'd say, "Well, excuse me, but I do work here, I can help you."
Right.
And they're like, "You're right," you know, and then they'd ask me for where this tool was or something. I'd say, "Oh, it's right over here." And it would just surprise the hell out of them.
That you knew a lot about tools and...
Yeah, and
That's under-
it was just, I don't know, it was fun. It was fun to prove all these, you know, people wrong. It was just funny. Just the look on their face. I mean, that gave me the thrill of working there.
As you continue in the next few years, you have a chance to prove everybody who doubted you wrong, too. What kind of look would you like to see on their faces?
I just like to see a lot of people that know me, that, you know, that aren't my real friends, eat their words, you know, don't think that I'm going to succeed, think that I'm going to be nothing, and I am going to make something of my life. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that believe in me.
It's interesting because as we've talked, and we've talked about some real tough things that you've had to live with in these 23 years, you have also talked about how you've used each of those lemons, if you will, and made lemonade out of it. In other words, you've taken the tough parts about your life and you've overcome them through the pain, through the strength that you've had.
Yeah, I have a big jug of lemonade now.
A big jug of lemonade now.
Yeah.
So I will watch very closely to see what in the
I'm
world
sorry
you
to
will
add the
do.
sugar. You know,
Yeah, well,
make it sweet.
You got to make it sweet. You'll probably do that. Let me ask you, how do you get over it? Like, for instance, the White House just invited some Olympians to the White House, and you weren't invited. What did you think about that? I want to get your opinion, just from the White House, what you thought about not being invited
Well,
when we
actually,
come
the
back.
White-
Hold it. We got to break for a commercial.
break.
You know how these are. Somebody's got to pay for this show, Tonya. We'll be right back in a minute.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. You could be a co-host.
Hi, and I'm back with Rolanda.
I'm going to let you ask the questions now. Have you ever, maybe you'll have a talk show one day.
It might be fun.
Everybody else has one, Tonya. You might
Yeah,
as
I
well
might as well,
have
yeah.
one too. But while we're talking to television, though, the movie with you and Nancy that's portraying you, what do you think about that?
That's kind of funny. I mean, I really don't care because it's not my movie. You know, it's just from what the media has written about me and Nancy and about everything. So, you know, it's not the real
The real
movie.
deal. When you were away, especially like out of the country, and you watched how America was covering the story, what did you think about your country? Particularly the media. in this country?
Well, I knew that they were doing their job, but I was there to do my job at the Olympics and represent my country in the best way that I could. So, and I think I did. I think even though I did get 10th place, I think that I did a good showing there.
Nancy Kerrigan's mom thinks that she should have won the gold. And she thinks that the reason her daughter didn't is because all of the attention that was focused on you and on this scandalous whacking of the knees. What is your thought about that? You think she skated well enough for the gold, or you think?
I don't know because I'm not a judge. I mean, I watched them both skate and I thought they both did really well. You know, I'm not a judge, so I don't know what they actually look for. I mean, I don't even want to be in their position to look for it. I mean, there's lots of people young skaters who are coming up who want to be judges. I'm like, how come? You know, that would be so hard.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Before we left, we were talking about the White House reception that you weren't invited to. Did that hurt you?
It hurt me a little bit. I just wish that they could have asked it, you know, done it in a little bit different way. I know that the White House wanted me there, but the association didn't. And I just wish that they could have at least asked, you know, or invited me, and you know, or just called me up and just said, "I'm sorry, but we'd really like it if you weren't there."
So you don't, from what I hear you saying, you don't think you really got a fair shake in this whole thing, that people have pretty much bought, you know?
The association sent me a empty envelope for the reception, and I just thought that was kind of cheesy.
They sent you an envelope with nothing in it? Which was their way of saying what, you think?
I don't know.
That's bizarre.
It's okay.
An empty envelope?
Yeah.
When they didn't have to send anything, right?
Right. But that's okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you believe in angels?
I have a guardian angel someplace.
You do? Any idea what their name is, or how they show up, or when they show up?
I have no idea.
That could have been him. No. But what makes you believe in your guardian angel?
Because, you know, just for how things have come out and everything, I think that there is somebody there that's watching over me. You know, I mean, just because I didn't win a gold medal doesn't mean my life is over. You know, I have things that are maybe worth more than a gold medal, and that's true friends and family and people who love me.
You think that's what you won, if you won anything through all of this? What
Yeah.
did you win?
I think I won people who love me.
How important is it to you to belong, to have family, to have people around you who really care about you? What does that mean to you?
It's very important to me. I don't know, I just need to have, you know, people who love and care about me and support me. And I don't know, when I don't have that, I guess I feel not needed. And I'm the kind of person that likes to give and give and give. And I mean, I'll do anything I can for anybody, you know, so.
So do you have a boyfriend?
I have lots of friends.
Lots of special friends. Anybody in particular very special?
I have a friend.
Anything serious yet?
No,
Not serious.
no, we're not going to jump into anything.
Please don't.
No.
Take your time.
Yes,
From an old lady.
yeah. Where is
Take your
she?
time. Do you want to remarry one day? And
Yeah, I'd like to be married again someday and have a family. And hopefully, you know, I mean, not rushing or anything, but maybe in the next 5 years, I'd like to have a family.
what kind of boyfriends do you like?
I like someone who is secure, who does for themselves, who has their own life also. You know, because I have my life and I want someone to have their own life. And someone who supports me and can give me the love and support that I do need.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm a lot to handle, but you know,
Oh, no, not you, Tonya. Shy as you are.
I am shy.
What makes you a lot to handle as a girlfriend?
Well, just to have to realize, I mean, I don't see myself as a celebrity. You know, I see myself as a normal person, and I want a lot of people to see me as a normal person. But, I mean, I can't go out to dinner and not have someone come up to dinner and interrupt us for an autograph or something. I mean, there is a right time and a wrong time for it, you know, but I mean, I don't like to turn down people for an autograph, but when I'm having dinner or if I want to have a romantic dinner or something, I would like to do that,
Yeah.
you know, but then just, you know, media and the circus and all that kind of stuff and traveling is really hard.
Now listen, we have to take a break, so I want you to look at the camera and get us out of here.
Okay, we'll be right back.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
I know. It's like,
In 10, 9, 8, 7, you're good, sing.
oh, we're supposed to be relating.
4,
So I'll start off and just ask about your mentors or people that you really like. We're go on.
Hi, we're back with Yolanda.
You're getting good. You're getting good at
Hey,
this.
girl.
Who are some folks that you really look up to? I mean, do you have like mentors or women or men in history that have really inspired you?
Well, my favorite person in skating was Peggy Fleming, and she still is. She's really a wonderful lady, and she's been really supportive of me. And Dick Button.
Who's
And
that?
Dick Button, he used to skate a long time ago also, and he is now a commentator.
Okay.
And my coach Diane, I always looked up to her because, you know, she did her whole life, you know, herself, and then she got married to Denny, and they have a wonderful life together now.
They're real good. They're real good backbone for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to say leave this earth and come back, what would you come back as?
I think an eagle,
Why?
because I can soar through the sky and see everything and be free.
An eagle is also a very solitary being.
I don't know, it'd be just, you know, peaceful. If you were president, what would you do right now? What would be the most important thing you'd do?
Me?
One,
You-
one important thing that you would work on.
Probably child welfare and reform. What about you? If you were president right now, what would you do?
I think I'd work on the drugs, getting the drugs out of America.
Anything that you want to ask the American people as Tonya Harding?
No. Just, you know, keep believing in me, you know. I mean, I really appreciate everyone's support who has stood by me through thick and thin.
How do you want to be remembered through all of this business? With Nancy Kerrigan, with the Olympics, at the White House, with your parents, with the one thing you want to be remembered for is what?
A great person and a great athlete. Someone who came from the bottom and worked their way up and succeeded through life.
Okay. 5 words that best describe Tonya Harding are what?
Competitive, determined, lovable, likable, sexy.
And sexy. Well, you're right about that. We'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so go, girl, give it to them.
No, I'm gonna ask you when we come back.
When you get your talk show.
Yeah. We could do the scream.
Okay. That's a real girly thing.
We could go like this. Go like this. Go like this. You go.
When my friends and I say something together, we go like this. It's a girl thing, you know?
Yeah, it's the girl thing.
Yeah, let's do it at the same time. That'll be good. We're gonna do it together. Oh God. Okay. To the Tonya and Rolanda show.
You want to say that?
Yeah, we'll just say, and we're back.
10,
Okay.
We'll say, welcome back, everybody.
7,
Okay.
6, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, everybody. It's like the Tonya and Rolanda show. We're about to say goodbye, but I have to tell you something. I'm a reporter. I've covered this. We've followed the story. But you are a delight. I really enjoyed talking to you today. And I
Well,
think
thank
there's a
you.
lot that people don't know about you, and I appreciate that you shared that with us.
Well, I enjoyed being here. It's been a real great treat for me to have someone like you, interview me and, you know, and have fun.
Yeah, things aren't always what they seem. I think we learned that, and
Yeah.
it is nice to get to know you a lot
Yeah.
better. I wish you success.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thanks.
All right. And folks, that's our interview with Tonya Harding. I certainly hope that you got a better insight to what to the lady behind the big story today. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time on Rolanda.
Bye-bye.
So much, Matt. Great, good girl. Good girl. You did a great job. What do you hope this interview is going to do? Do you really hope things will change? Or
I hope that, you know, it'll let people see the real me.
Yeah, because you just really, that was a good interview.
Yeah, it was.
Very
It
good
was.
interview. You were just open
Where's
and
our
honest.
drink?
I know. And let's go get a margarita, okay?
Yeah, yeah.